What's going on, guys? So last night I went and picked up this AEM wideband and kind of just mocked it up for right now. I did this little aluminum plate for the back using some aluminum sheets that I picked up from Home Depot, but it doesn't look quite right, so I might just redo that or maybe just leave it off and just leave the gauge on there. But if you guys don't know, in the last video there was some pretty loud backfires coming out of the car, so I'm gonna go ahead and just install it for now and see where our air fuel ratio is. Hopefully it will be somewhere that's acceptable, but I think we're running pretty rich, and hopefully this thing will give us an accurate reading of it. We are OBD 0 right now, so I'm not going to hook up any data logging or anything like that, but I do plan on going OBD 1 as soon as possible. I just don't have all the stuff right now, and when we do that I'll go ahead and hook up the data logger and we'll start tuning the car on Chrome. But for right now I'm just going to hook this up and hopefully it'll give me like a really decent reading so I can see, because I'm pretty sure we're running really rich, because I can smell it's kind of like a lot of gas, and it is wasting quite a bit of gas, and there is some loud backfires, so pretty sure it's running pretty rich. So let's just go ahead and start hooking this thing up. So I went ahead and jacked up the car, and basically if you look all the way down there, you see that little knob coming out of that pipe. That's basically where I'm going to want to put my sensor on the downstream. Apparently I don't have any O2 sensor hooked up at all, so that might be why I'm running really rich. But let's go ahead and take that thing off, and then I'm going to install the sensor for the wideband into that little bung right there. Okay, so I'm under the card now, and it's literally just a 19. I think most of them will be a 19, but you might want to double check on yours. And then we're down here now. You can see my blackwork bushings, so beautiful. And then the shift linkage is holding up really well. The bitch pin is in there, and yeah. So a word of caution to anyone who takes one of these out, they're really tight. I literally had to use this giant breaker bar. It's a 25-inch because I couldn't get my little impact in there just to take this thing out. And if you can see from all the threads on there, they're pretty locked up because of all the heat. And I bumped my head really hard when it finally broke loose. My head kind of tilted back and hit the ground, and it hurt really bad. So just be careful. Okay, so put a little bit of anti-seize on this thing so I don't ever bump my head like I did earlier. There we go. Install it right up. Okay, so I got it all plugged up down there, and basically the wire portion of it is right here. So literally I'm just going to hook up the lead, and there is already a hole conveniently located right there, the firewall, so I'm going to send it through there, and then we'll go ahead and button it all up inside. Okay, so the harness is right here, and it comes out of that hole, from that hole right there. So I'm literally just going to basically run it up through my dash here, and then I'm just literally just gonna pull up on it so that I get all the slack out of that cable. So I feel it get kind of tight. It's really long, so that's pretty good. I think that's gonna be good right there. And then I'm just gonna hook it up to the back, and then we're gonna do the power and the ground. So for this part, literally just a little plug right there. Just gonna plug that into there, and then if I can get this to be steady, really need a cameraman if somebody wants to sign up. Basically just plug that in, and then now we got to run this other harness that comes with it. It's basically just there's 4 wires. We don't need this blue one unless we were using like the AEM, I forget what they're, it's basically like a standalone ECU for AEM. This white wire is the data logger. We're not going to use that now, so I'm just going to put some electrical tape over the ends of these because we're not OBD1 yet, so we're not data logging anything. And then basically I'm going to run this red to a ignition switch on, or accessory wire that gives 12 volt when I switch it to on. And then this guy, we're just going to find a place to ground it, and there's already a ground. There it is right there. the little red piece back there that's kind of shaved off with a black wire. I'm just gonna run it to that. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. I have my ground all hooked up. All these wires have been kind of covered up so they don't touch anything, and obviously the sensor is hooked up, but I don't want to run the power directly to some wire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a dedicated circuit. I'm gonna go over to the parts store and get like a inline fuse adapter thing, and then stick that into the fuse box into an open circuit. I'm just gonna find one that goes hot when you get the ignition to the on position, and we're gonna do it that way. I think that's safer than just wiring it up to any power source on here, because there might be some kind of interruption and stuff. So I want it to be as accurate as possible. So I'm gonna go run and do that, and then when I come back, I'm gonna continue. It's a badass Integra right there. I miss mine. So it's now the next day, and I went and picked up one of these add a circuit for an ATC style fuse. So as you guys can see, it's pretty simple. You basically just stick that end right there into the fuse box, and then you can keep the fuse for the circuit, and then you can add another circuit over here which goes to the wire, which then goes to the thing that you're trying to power. So literally we just have to find a circuit in the fuse box that will turn on when I hit the key to the on position, and we'll tap from there. So this thing's $3, and it's so much cleaner and easier and more reliable than just cutting any wire, and like you don't really want to hack up your harnesses anyway. So yeah. So now all I've got to do is take this this red wire from the harness and just basically plug it into here. Just gonna make it a little bit shorter and stockier. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just make a new connection here because I don't trust this cable. So go ahead and take a little bit off. There we go. We got some brand new wires. Twist them up a little bit. So yeah. A lot of people are saying to run this thing off of the ECU harness because it'll give you problems if you don't. So I guess I'm gonna find that out right now. But I'm thinking that I don't want to hack up the harness that goes to the ECU because I want to go OBD1, and I kind of want to just be able to jump the harness directly with just a jumper harness. I won't be able to do that. Well, I would, but it's going to be all hacked up, and I don't like ripping out cables from any harness at all. It bothers me, so that's why I want to do it this way. Oh man, this thing's really tough. Really squeeze it. There we go. She appears to be good there. This isn't shrink wrap, but I mean it's gonna be inside, so hopefully it'll hold up and not short anything out if any moisture gets in it. If not, I might just put a little bit of electrical tape around this, about this far from here to here. But that's pretty much it. Now we just gotta find a fuse that has power when the ignition is on, and you know, add our fuse. I'm gonna put a 10 amp fuse here for the gauge itself, or I might do a 7.5, I don't know. And then I'll put the original fuse, so I'll show you guys that right now. So for this next part, I'm just gonna be using a regular test light that I got from Harbor Freight for like $3. We're gonna be looking for a fuse circuit to tap into that is activated by the ignition switch, as I said many times before. So to ground it, I like to use this little, it's really hard to see in here, but let's see if I can. Usually you'll find a good place on the door jamb, where the door meets the car itself. There's a good, nice, solid metal piece right there. So literally all I do is just clip this guy on there, and she's good to go. You can use other places, but that's the one I like to use. And then so for the actual fuse itself, we're going to be, number one, make sure your battery is connected. Number two, take this cover off, which mine is in Japanese, by the way. It's pretty awesome. And then I'm just going to take my test light, stick it on one of the leads here, and I'm gonna make sure that there is no power. See how that one has power even when the ignition switch is off? So I can basically use any one of these. I could use any one of these. Well, not that one, but. So I think I'm gonna go with like a 20. I'm gonna try this 20 here. So I'm gonna just pull it out real quick. Let me grab my my fuse puller real quick. Okay, so before I actually use that that circuit there, I'm actually gonna, in order for you to confirm that it powers on when you hit the ignition to on, I'm gonna turn the key to the on position so I can hear the main relay click, and then I'm going to put this guy to the fuse and hope that it has power now. Now it has power, so both sides, so we can use that one definitely. So now I can go ahead and just turn this off, take that out because that's going to be annoying, and then just use my little fuse puller here, pull out that 20, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to add the 20. I'm going to put the 20 here to complete the circuit for whatever this accessory was, like that, and then be right back. And then we're going to use a 7.5. See if I can show this. Just a little 7.5. I think it calls for a 5 amp, but I don't have a 5 amp, so we're just going to use a 7.5, and if we need more amperage, then we'll throw a 10 on here. So now we're going to make the circuit for the 10, or for the gauge itself. There we go, all the way in. You guys can see there, there's a 7.5 and then the 20 amp that was originally there. And just stick it in there. We'll go ahead and just hit this ignition to the on position. We should have power. But yeah, that's basically how you wire it up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and button all this up, and then I'll show you guys to see, hopefully it's working. Okay, so she's all buttoned up, the gauge is fully installed, and my cluster is pretty much back all together. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up, and hopefully it'll give us a good reading. Let's just confirm that it is getting power. And I'm not sure why it does this, but it kinda, I guess it's calibrating. So it always does the same thing. It stays there, it goes down, and then it goes all the way super rich, and then it gives you the 3 lines. So let's just go ahead and fire it up. Not sure what that was. It was a noise that was just made. Maybe I left a tool under the car. But it's giving us a reading, and it seems to be pretty accurate. It's running really, really lean right now. Wow. Okay, so it's getting a ton of air. Damn, I can't believe I was running it this lean. Whoa, it's ridiculous. I hope this thing's accurate, but it's really, really lean. I think it'll be okay, but I can't drive it around like this anymore. I thought it was running rich, but it's not. It's running lean. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off. It's running super lean. It's 17 air-fuel ratio. So we're trying to get to stoic, which is 14.7. That thing's at 17. It's fine under no load, but I'm still not gonna run it that way. It's just way too lean. I'm gonna blow the motor that way. Can't believe it's not blown yet. I mean, it was, you know, I was driving it around like that for a little while. I was doing pulls on it like that. So this is why I always, this is why I got this air fuel ratio, or the wideband, because, yeah, I was really, I knew something was up with a mixture. So I'm glad that I bought it. So it tells me basically what's going on with the car, and I should have got it sooner and not done pulls on it. So I'm gonna be doing a compression test later on to see if I did hurt the motor or not. Hopefully the engine's fine. And now, before I ever drive this car again, I'm gonna convert to OBD1 and add some fuel to the mixture with chrome, because it's running way too lean, and that is gonna blow a motor. So that's pretty much how you install the wideband. For now, I'm just gonna leave the car here as is, and I gotta go to work right now, but maybe tomorrow morning I'll start going to the pick apart and pulling out some like OBD1 injectors. Maybe I'll get a 4-wire O2 sensor, maybe not, I'm not sure, because I have the wideband. And then I'm gonna be ordering a jumper harness, and I'm gonna get a little clip so I can do the resistor box delete. And then I'm gonna start looking for a chipped OBD1 ECU. Hopefully I can find a P28 for like 120 bucks, somewhere around here, that is already chipped. And then I'm either gonna upload a base map to it and then check it that way, or I might just order an ostrich and start tuning using the ostrich. They're like 300 bucks, but I mean, it'll be worth it, because you know, it'll save my engine. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully that helps you on installing your wideband in your car. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.